Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Virgo. If Virgo is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so Virgo, our card tonight is the Lovers. Oh my goodness. Are we ready for that? All right. Okay. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what these tea leaves have to say tonight. And so if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And also, if you'd like to hit the like button or leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. Especially if you're new to the channel, shout it out in the comment section. So now we have the number 60, little 6, large 0. Okay, so 60. And it looks like we have, it looks like it says L-A-M, lamb. Almost kind of am reading it as lammy for some reason. L-A-M, maybe not an M, but then the Y, lammy. Maybe that means something to you, maybe not. Maybe this is a lamb, the most famous microbe in the world. But it could be that the letters are mixed up as well. Okay, let's keep going. Let's take a look, and then I want to go back. And we will start. So I want to actually talk about this person real quick. Now we have somebody who is an older masculine energy coming through. For some reason, I keep seeing potatoes with them. Now you can see there's a face here. We have the eyes, the nose, the mouth. But when we turn this over, I was looking at it as a 0, but also as a potato. We also have, it looks like a neighborhood right in here. Maybe one that is maybe a little more affluent, or at least like, you know, middle class. And I'm almost wondering if we had maybe a grandfather, a family member who was older, who came from really kind of humble beginnings and worked throughout their life to kind of maybe build a business or yeah, I feel like maybe they had their own business. Or they rise through the ranks in their company that they worked for. Their career was like a stellar, you know, accomplishment. And yeah, I think they made some money. You know, I think they ended up having some money. And I also think that what came along with that is maybe almost feeling an insecurity about where they had come from versus where they were. Like they didn't really belong with the people around them that were also quite successful. And I think that this almost created a meanness, or maybe a very like judgmental quality, where they were always kind of trying to keep up appearances and very critical to their children and maybe even grandchildren about how they conducted themselves, how you kind of expressed yourself. You know, this whole energy of like, I worked, you know, myself to the bone to make this family, you know, something, to have, you know, a nice house and in a nice neighborhood and go to good schools and all this kind of thing. And so you have to kind of fall in line, right? If you don't kind of live within the parameters of this world I've built, then I just cannot deal with you. I don't want you in our family. I don't want you in my life. And I feel like it was such a difficulty, because I think that you really did love this grandfather figure, this father figure, and always this desire to be noticed by them, to make them, you know, be proud of you, right? You want this person in particular to say, hey, you've done it, you've done well, you know. And I think that this is a thing that really dictated probably your younger years. And I think that it was something that most of the time was pretty heartbreaking, because I think that you felt rejected. And here's the thing though, I feel like no matter what you would have done, if you would have become an astronaut and gone to the moon, it would have never been good enough. Because it wasn't about you or your siblings or your family members, your parents, whoever. It was not about any of them. It was about this person having this insecurity, this almost imposter syndrome that they tried to make up for by being a cruel person. It gave them a sense of power. But it was very, very transparent, right? Even I think when you were young, you saw through it. That didn't stop you from still wanting their favor. And now I think looking back on it all these years later, and now maybe you are a grandparent yourself, and you think, how could I ever treat anybody in my life this way? You know, you're proud of your kin. You're proud of your children, of your grandchildren. Even if they're not living a life that you understand, or, you know, it's a whole world you don't know anything about, which, let's face it, with the rise of the internet, people are into all kinds of stuff that we've never heard of. I don't know. You know, these kids out here, I feel like I'm quite old. I'm not really that old, I guess, you know, in the grand scheme of things. I think I'm going to be 39 this year. I always forget, because I've been saying I'm 40 for like 5 years. Like, just round up. Now when I turn 40 next year, I'm going to tell people I'm 45. I'm around 45, somewhere in there. I know. And people, when they ask me, I'm like, how old am I? What year is it? You know, and people are like, what the heck, this lady? She doesn't know how old she is. I don't. I spent a whole year thinking I was the wrong age. And that's when, that was like, how old was I? Like 34. I thought I was 35 for the whole year. And then I was turning 35, and I was like, wait a second, what's going on here? Wait a second. So yeah, I don't know. But I feel like, you know, you look at these people in your life and you think, you know, maybe I don't know what they're into. And that's where I was going with that. There's this stuff, I'm not that, you know, departed from youth culture. And I still have no idea what the heck they're talking about. I don't know. My niece stayed with me for the summer, parts of it, and I had to get on Urban Dictionary because there were things she was saying, I don't know what that means. I have no idea. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? you know? Is that good? And so, yeah, I feel like you're a very tolerant person, a very open person, a very open-minded and fairly easygoing, right? In some ways. Now, we're talking about Virgo, so we're a little uptight. We might tell people we're the most easygoing people in the world. We're not. That's a lie. But I do. I feel like, you know, having somebody like this in your life, it changed you. And I think that ultimately, as much heartbreak as it brought, it made you a kinder person, a more empathetic person, a more compassionate and inclusive person. And, you know, I'm not one to say that our suffering should be glorified or you know, romanticized. But sometimes we do need a little hardship, a few ordeals in our life to get us to where we need to be, you know. And so you've made the best of this life lesson. And I feel that, you know, you are a person that people are drawn to in your life. They want to be with you. They want to be around you. They look forward to your company. And, you know, and I think that feels really good. You know, I think that you feel like you've succeeded in this way. And it might not seem like a big deal, but these are the things of our life that are the most important, right? When we are leaving this world, we will remember our connections. We won't think, oh, I should have been more strict. I should have been more stern. You know, we'll think I loved. And I let people around me be who they are. I didn't try to control that or shame them. And, you know, and I had connections, heart-to-heart connections with people because they weren't afraid of me. They weren't afraid to let me down, you know, and I think that's so important to you. Now, let's take a look. Down here, we have, it looks like a spirit guide of some kind. And I do feel there is a sense of journeying here. Going back to some core place. We have a boat over here as well. So I feel like this is kind of a time of introspection. This is a time where, well, we always, you know, I think all of us, I don't think anybody is free of this, but we all go through these periods of time where we're like, I'm going to fix my life. I'm going to be, you know, I'm going to get back in shape. I'm going to eat better. I'm going to, you know, get more in touch with my faith. I'm going to be more sociable. I'm going to be part of the community. I'm going to go to therapy. I'm going to read all the books and, you know, whatever. And we really, you know, are in that zone of changing and healing and finding something that feels like it is bringing meaning to our life, that we are alive and we are evolving and, you know, and then there are times where we're just kind of, you know, on autopilot. We're going through the motions. We're making that money. We're, you know, trying to reach our goals. We're making sure our family is okay, that everybody is, you know, doing as well as they can and you know, whatever. And so I feel like there is this moment here coming up where you're going from this kind of real physical world stuff where, you know, it is job, household, trying to fit in a couple things that are enjoyable, you know, moving towards this desire to find that thing, What is that thing? Is that God? Is it goddess? Is it the divine? Is it the, you know, the answer to the universe through the lens of science, mathematics? You know, I don't know what it is for you, but I feel like you have that drive. You know that there is something, there's something in there, and you want to find it. I think about this as being kind of the thorn that is in our sacred heart, right? It's uncomfortable. We know there's something there. There's something agitating our existence. And we must find that through the interior work. We must find that through connection with the divine, through finding some greater meaning in the mystery of it all. And, you know, and I feel like in this time, there is a real connection to this guide that you have. And I feel like they've been with you your whole life. This isn't like a new manifestation. This is not an intelligence that has sucked you out, or is that how you say it? Suck you out? That doesn't sound right. That has been seeking you out, or, you know, something that you have created. But I think this is something that you have always been with. They have always been with you since your rebirth into the physical form. And I feel that in this time there is a potency there. There are dreams. There are maybe visions, moments of dissociation where you're kind of lost in that in-between. I see you daydreaming a lot, kind of just staring at the window, thinking, and the imagery is coming to you, and you think, man, I'm just kind of like out here, space cadet, you know, whatever. But I think that you know that these are spiritual emanations, and this is the journey quickening again. And so I feel you very involved in the spiritual work. And so what I want to do is take a little drink here, but also I want to do these oracle cards. I'm using them as kind of clarifying cards, and it's kind of, I'm only beginning to use them, so it's a little bit clunky. Bear with me. But I'm going to pick 3 cards, and we're going to kind of clarify about what is the spiritual journey kind of aimed at, where are you going, maybe an indicator of what to focus on or what to look for, some kind of symbol or whatever. So I'm going to just flip through. I'm bad at shuffling, so I do it like this on video because it will be a mess if I don't. Okay, so we have ostentatious. Or ostentation. Yeah, anyways. This is kind of showing off. Something that is beautiful and ornate. You can think of like going to a ball or some kind of like grand entrance, and there's all the doings, the pomp and circumstance. So we have that, very showy. Now I'm going to go again here. Practicality. Okay, so these are 2 things that feel very separate from one another. Flattery. Okay. All right. So I do feel you vacillating between kind of this showiness, this wanting to maybe express yourself in these very ornate and beautiful and highly kind of curated ways. But at the same time, there is a draw to that earthiness that we have, Virgo. and really staying in those practical, mundane matters, making sure that we upkeep those routines, that we're keeping the, just the basic stuff going, right? Showing up to work on time, doing your due diligence there, making sure the house is in order, that, bills are getting paid, making sure that you're doing, your self-care things, and so on. All of the stuff that, is involved in being a human being and being part of a family, likely, and so on. Now, flattery. Flattery, flattery, flattery. We love it, don't we? We say we don't, Virgo. We say, I don't care what people think about me. I know I'm amazing, because I am, right? And that's true. But for somebody to flatter us just a little bit, we might not succumb to it, but it does. It feels good. It feels good. So I feel like in this time, on this spiritual journey that you're on, I feel like there is kind of this opening that occurs through bringing the spiritual into, maybe in your self-expression, maybe this is not just the interior experience, although that's very important, but I think also maybe, and this is a very practical way to kind of express these spiritual emanations and happenings, and that is keeping an altar, right? Decorating it with the things that are moving to you, that impassion you, getting it in a place in your home, in your workspace, whatever, where you can engage with it. There's a sense of really putting your creativity there, but also I think it's something that you want other people to see, and that's okay, right? I think that you are excited and you take pride in your ability to kind of put these things together. You take pride in your faith. And I know we're not supposed to be prideful about our relationship to the divine, but yeah, sometimes we want to express that. Sometimes it's such a joyous or moving, a kind of transformative experience that, yes, we want people to know. We want them to see. And there's nothing wrong with that. Not at all. So I do feel, this is a place where instead of trying to do the spiritual work in a way that feels prescribed, or like these are the rigid tenets of how you're supposed to do this, these are the rules and regulations, and that feels oppressive. Instead of going that route, it is kind of doing it as you please. I love this crossover of religious inclinations, spiritual inclinations, and artwork. Obviously there's a lot of religious art, but I look at things like Art Brut, a movement that's called Bad Art, which, if you know who Basquiat in the 90s was, really kind of the leading artist in the bad art movement. But basically what these are movements within art that are people who are usually untrained. These are people who, they just are making art for the sake of it. Within Art Brut, there is a lot of, it began with people who were saving and documenting and archiving work of people who were in mental health facilities, long-term mental health facilities. And these are people who were making beautiful, just interesting kind of folk art looking, maybe not technically, you know, their technical skills were maybe not the best. But there's something honest about this kind of artwork. And there's something that almost feels quite divine about it, because it feels like it's in touch with that kind of cosmic stream of, you know, serpentine energy, that creative force. And so I look at this energy that we have going on here with you, Virgo, and I almost feel like it's like this impulse to have to express yourself, not because of any, you know, super, like, I have to indulge the ego, but because you have to, because it's like you can't breathe if you're not, right? And I really feel this as being a very powerful time in your life where you are finding your voice again. And that's what it comes down to, is I really feel you finding this part of yourself that maybe you felt like you had lost, you know, and but here it is again, re-emerging. Now we have the hen, so we have a very motherly energy here. We also have a person with their dog. It looks like they're throwing a ball. So there is a sense of a softer side here, enjoying your connections with the people that are around you, the people that you trust and they trust you, having, you know, some leisure and just these moments where you can connect and do things that maybe feel kind of frivolous, but they're very meaningful. You know, it does. I think it's important to have these moments of just kind of connection. I mean, it's just a connection. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You know, if you're playing lawn darts or if you are, you know, I don't know, like building a house together or whatever it is. It doesn't have to be anything so formal. It could be whatever it is. But just being there with them in that moment, I think it's something that is so healing for you. Now, we also have the division sign above the mother energy. And I really feel like there's this kind of, it's almost like a voice or like just a feeling of, well, like when kids are little, right? And they're fighting over toys. They, mom, so-and-so did this and I, whatever, and he took my, and she took my, or she won't let me. And, you know, just the kind of, and mom is like, okay, let's stop. You are siblings. You are family. We don't need to be fighting like this, you know. And so I feel like there's this reminder as we are in, well, let's just face it, we're in a very contentious, divisive period of time right now. Now, it is very intense here in America at the moment, but generally even the last, you know, years everywhere have been just, I think, difficult for families, difficult for friends groups, for communities. People are very divided on a number of issues, right? And I feel like this is kind of that energy of reminding you, right? Don't fight with your sister. Don't fight with your brother. Your family, you know? But it is. I think it is. We have to continually work towards not falling into this. And I believe this, and I don't know, this might get me in trouble on the algorithm, but I believe that it really is kind of a social psyops for us to continue to be falling out with one another. It takes a lot more for us to just kind of get over our nonsensical beliefs about things, our positions about things that don't even really affect us personally, yet we're fighting with our, you know, we're fighting with our uncle on Facebook about it or whatever, you know. I think that it's something that is purposely happening, you know. And so to kind of, yeah, be the revolutionary, go against it. Find ways to become stronger within your connections. Now, let me just also say this, I'm never going to be a person to tell you, you got to just stay with your family. Family is the most important. The people in your life, you have to do everything you can to keep each other together. Now, there are lots of situations where it is better for you to just let go, right? A lot of situations, bad behaviors, abuses, you know, mistreatment, lack of respect, the stress, whatever it is that creates that energy where, yeah, you might detach from them all, or at least, you know, parts of your family or whatever. Yeah, you got to do what's best for you. But what I'm talking about is us getting involved in these things, you know, these ideas, these thought forms, these thought viruses, and causing just absolute falling out over things that didn't need to be argued about in the first place. So the restraint, right? There is some restraint. Now we also have a person holding the oil lamp. And I never want to think of this as check your oil, although yes, check your oil on your car. Make sure that everything is tip-top there. But the oil lamp also indicates you have a wish that will come true. So make sure that you are being thoughtful about what you want to manifest in your life, because I do see it happening. So make it a good one. Make it something worthwhile. Now, we're going to do our gratitude affirmation cards. These are from Purple Canyon. And I'm just going to stop where it feels right. It says, waves of emotion. My feelings are like waves in an endless ocean, and I choose the emotions I ride. The ebbs and flows of my moods enhance the richness of life's experience. Practice. Throughout the day, take note of what affects the direction of your emotions. Choose which sentiments should linger and which should ebb away. All right, that is one I will be on myself. I will be doing that today, absolutely. I don't know what is happening these last, I don't know, 2 weeks, I guess. Emotions are high all around. All around. I'm not going to out anybody for the business that I know about that's happening in, you know, my private life and in my communities, different communities I'm involved in. But I swear to you, it has been a lot everywhere. People are just going through it. I myself have been just, I don't know, in a stinker of a mood. In a stinker of a mood. And really trying my best to get out of it. I don't know. So let's just, yeah, I'm employing all of my techniques to dig myself out of the place that I've been, because my goodness, to me, I almost look at myself comically, because I'm like, why am I so I feel heartbroken, you know? And part of it is to, I have you know, a anniversary of the passing of somebody really important to me that's in a few days. And that's what it is. I mean, I know that, but it doesn't have to affect all of the rest of my life. And I'm really trying so hard. But it is. I mean, it's not just my stuff. I mean, I've seen just some really difficult things going on with people. So, you know, if you are one of us who is struggling recently, currently, I send you all of my love. Absolutely. We will get through it, Virgo. We'll be all right. But it's been one. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you I love you because I do. And I thank you for spending this time with me. If you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And if you want to leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. Especially if you're new to the channel, shout it out in the comment section. And other than that, I just want to tell you again, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Take care of yourself. We're going to talk in a few days. Good night.